Analysts in Washington point to widespread frustration over rising prices, high interest rates, soaring rent, and medical costs. Many voters felt disconnected from Trump-endorsed candidates who focused too much on slogans like "Make America Great Again" and too little on real economic pain. Democrats seized this moment, positioning themselves as the party of stability. And the results speak volumes. They held key battlegrounds while the GOP faced bitter defeats. Experts argue this is not just a political loss for Trump, it's a crisis of influence. For years, he has embodied the role of the fearless outsider, unafraid to challenge the establishment. But now, many Americans are yearning for calm over chaos. His fiery rallies and combative tone, once his greatest assets, may be turning into liabilities as voters grow tired of constant confrontation. Inside the Republican Party, cracks are starting to show. Some members quietly question whether Trump can still lead them to victory. The MAGA brand, once unstoppable, seems to be losing traction, particularly among moderates and young voters who crave stability and tangible solutions. Still, Trump's base remains fiercely loyal. They see every loss as a temporary setback, a storm before the comeback. This unwavering devotion keeps him politically alive and makes him a figure who can never be counted out completely. As strategists regroup, whispers from inside Mar-a-Lago reveal intense internal debates. Should Trump soften his tone and focus on economic issues, or double down on his combative style, betting that anger and division still win elections, whichever path he chooses? One thing is clear, the 2026 race just got a lot more unpredictable. Trump's advisors are now in damage control mode, holding closed-door meetings to rethink messaging, fundraising, and media strategy. His critics call this the beginning of the end, while his supporters see it as the quiet before a comeback storm. Next, we're looking at a currency story that matters. The US dollar has dipped slightly from its recent peaks as investors embrace more risk. Meanwhile, the British pound is under pressure ahead of the upcoming Bank of England meeting. These shifts are more than just numbers. They reflect global risk mood and carry real implications for trade, borrowing, and investment. According to Reuters on November 6, 2025, the dollar slipped as risk-on sentiment returned and investors picked up higher-yielding assets. EUR/USD was floating on 1.1495, cruising but slightly below its recent three-month high of about 1.1469. The pound traded near 1.3054 USD and remains vulnerable due to expectations that the BOE may signal future rate cuts. Risk-sensitive currencies surged. The Australian dollar rose about 0.3% to 0.6508 USD, and the New Zealand dollar lifted from 7-month lows to approximately 0.5665 USD. With U.S. government data publication still stalled by the shutdown, some strategists say the market is flying semi-blind, which heightens volatility. Here's the key takeaway. The U.S. dollar has for years been the go-to shelter in market chaos, but now that it's pulling back, it suggests investors feel more confident taking risk. That's a powerful signal. If you're an importer, borrower, or global investor, consider a weaker dollar makes imports cheaper, but U.S. exporters face tougher conditions. A stronger dollar helps U.S. debtors and importers but may signal global strain. And the pound, it's hanging by a thread ahead of the BOE meeting. Markets expect a dovish tone, meaning future rate cuts. A weak pound affects British businesses, borrows and ignites cross-market ripple effects. Remember, exchange rates are reflections of risk sentiment and economic expectations, not just numbers. When the dollar retreats, something's shifting beneath the surface. In short, a dip in the US dollar is a visible warning investors are moving, and the pound is on tiptoe, waiting for the bow's call. Comment below if you deal with foreign borrowing, imports, or global investment. Are you ready for a weaker dollar or a pressured pound? Final, we've got a major story for the US economy. The services sector, which accounts for more than 2/3 of US GDP, saw a sharp increase in activity thanks to rising new orders. But here's the catch: employment in the sector is still shrinking. And that could be a warning sign. The Institute for Supply Management (ISM) reported on November 5th that the US services PMI climbed to 52.4 in October from 50.0 in September, beating estimates. The new orders sub-index jumped to 56.2 from 50.4, yet the employment index remained at 48.2, marking a fifth consecutive month of contraction in service sector jobs. Firms reported that despite more business, they remain cautious about hiring due to tariffs, labor supply issues, and data uncertainty from the government shutdown. Here's the real story. When new orders are rising but employment is not, you've got a split economy. For consumers, that means spending may hold up for now. But if jobs don't follow, income growth stalls, and spending will falter. And since services make up so much of the US economy, this matters deeply. If you're a business owner, you've got more orders, but you're also thinking about cost, labor quality, and how reliable the outlook. Many are hitting weight on hiring. When many businesses do that at once, the job market weakens and the economy slows. Look, bosses, when you see growth and job contraction together, that's not celebration time. That's alarm bells. It means the engine is still running, but the fuel line might be clogged. In short, the US services sector shows strength, but the job market behind it is weak. This is not just good news, it's a red flag for what's next. Comment below. As a service industry worker or consumer, are you feeling the disconnect between business activity and job security? Like, if you found this helpful, subscribe and hit the bell. Thanks for watching. We see you next time.